What's happened is the action that we initiated, we've funded it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, because we got the flick pass last week, it means that we no longer can control the destiny of that legal action. So the new News Limited appointed directors now take over that legal action, and they'll provide a little bit of window dressing and whatever else, and then they'll pull the plug on that at some stage in the near future. But we would like to think that we would not fund it on behalf of News. We're happy to fund it on behalf of the supporters and also ourselves, but not on behalf of News. The interesting conundrum for those News Limited directors will be now, do you look after the best interest of the people that employ you in News, or do you try and serve the best interest of the soul of the football club, which is the supporters and the members of the Melbourne Storm? Because there's overwhelming evidence there and opinion from some of the best legal luminaries in this town, complemented by a gentleman called Alan Myers, who I think you would both admit is probably as strong or as respected an advocate in this area in this country. And he says that we have a more than reasonable case. Now, if you're going to ignore all of that advice and pull this court case, I'm not quite sure what message that sends to the members and fans of Melbourne Storm.
Is there any development on the whispers that have been around that Four Corners are on the case of other NRL teams that may have breached the salary cap? I
think after the allegations that have come out this morning in The Age, in respect to what Matt Hansen has said, and that Matt told two of the News Limited directors prior to this all being revealed, he told them back in February and in March, I have no doubt that this will certainly play a central part in whatever Four Corners does in the future, I would imagine. Because this today, John Hartigan came out last week and said the first time they found out about it was a day before the actual event. Now, for the news to come out today that News Limited appointed directors knew about it in January and February, that's staggering news.
Well, I guess the allegation that they knew about it.
Well, the allegation is there as well. The other thing we kept calling for was an independent report all the way through this, Ross. Well, now, no one was questioning the integrity of someone like Deloitte, who are a well-respected firm, as we all know. But there is no doubt, Matt Hansen sat down in front of his lawyer and told two of the Deloitte's partners exactly the same information that he presented to The Age, obviously, yesterday. So why was that not contained within that report that was released last week? So how can the report
was it a summary of the report was released last week? It was a
summary, but you would have thought that would have made up a pretty important part of the summary, would you not?
Yeah, yep. Tell us you were most sorry, just still on the Storm. This so-called exodus of players appears to have started, but none of the key names have been mentioned. Of the key players, how many of them will be there first kick-off next year? When we looked at different scenarios before we were flicked past last week, there was about 3 different scenarios that we put forward, which means all 4 could stay. Now that's certainly, I'm not there suggesting for one moment there was not considerable loss in the other playing ranks, but while those scenarios were in place, that could definitely occur. Is that Inglis, Smith, Slater, Cronk?
And Cronk. But with what's occurred now, taking into consideration there was some of these players would have been looking for overseas options, which is what's been announced today. And I have no doubt there'll be a couple of others like that as well. So, but I still think that could happen. Could I just quickly revert back to the court case for one thing? And the one issue that's been talked about in the papers, and on talkback already, especially up in New South Wales, is the difference between the NRL and the AFL, Ross, and that independent commission.
Yep.
Now, if the one thing this screams out more than anything else is the need for an independent commission to go away and run this game. Now, David Gallop serves 2 masters at the moment. He serves the news and the game. Whereas if you have a look at the way that Andrew Demetrio works here on the AFL, he only has one master, and that's the game. He's beholden to the game. He's not beholden to the clubs, and that's what must happen in the game of NRL. That's the thing that has to happen, and has to happen quickly.